Hello everyone, this is Neha and today is the part 2 for giving tips for the telc exam. And today we will talk about remaining sections for telc exam. And we have spoken in my last week video about Lesenverstehen and Sprachbaustein. But today we will talk about Hörenverstehen, schriftlicher Ausdruck und mündlicher Ausdruck. So these three parts will be covered in this video. So let's start. So first we have Hörenverstehen for today, and in Hörenverstehen we will have three parts. Then we have schriftlich Ausdruck. Schriftlich Ausdruck is writing, and we may need to write half informal or maybe fully informal letter for the writing part. Then comes the mündlich Ausdruck. Mündlicher Ausdruck has three parts. For the first part, we will introduce ourselves. In the second part, we will talk about a topic. And then in the third part, we will plan something together. And for preparing speaking, which is mündlich Ausdruck, you will get 20 minutes, which is Vorbereitungszeit of 20 minutes before speaking exam. So let's start with today's video. We have already seen Lesenverstehen and Sprachbaustein in my last week video. Today we will talk about Hörenverstehen first. So in the first Teil 1 für Hörenverstehen, we have 5 questions. So these 5 questions will be spoken only one time. So Sie hören diese Text nur einmal. So first tip is prepare yourself that you will be listening all these questions only one time. And you have to take care for the keywords. For example, we have here the first question says, Die Sprecherin muss im Haushalt fast alles alleine machen. So here the keywords are alles allein machen and muss. Also, this particular question is about a lady. So she is doing everything alone. But maybe you get this answer from a gents. So he is doing everything alone in this conversation, and you think that it is the right answer. So you mark it as true, but it would be false because gents are doing everything alone, not a lady. So you have to take care of this factor also. Apart from this, we have 3 tiles in Hörenverstehen, and another tip would be you don't need to read the description of each tile. You can utilize that time for marking the keywords in the given questions. So take care of that you have time for reading the question. Then we have Zweite tile, and this question particularly will be a conversation, and you will get this conversation 2 times. So you will be hearing this conversation 2 times. So for this also you don't need to read the description. Directly when they are saying the description, you can utilize your that time for marking the good keywords, and then you take care that you have almost 10 questions here. So you have to understand that you have to distribute your time for marking the good keywords. So you have to be very quick in marking the good keywords so that when you hear the conversation, you should be able to mark all the right answers in one go. And when you hear the conversation second time, you should be only correcting or reviewing marked answers. So try to hear everything in first go, then review it second time. Another thing is this is whole conversation. So this is not one by one question, but this is all conversation. So they will be repeating the whole conversation zweimal. For example, when they will start the conversation, they will start from their conversation, and you will find your answer for 46 till the last question. And then you will again hear the conversation. So now we have the third tile for the Hörenverstehen, and in the third tile also we will hear the conversation 2 times. So actually this is not a conversation, but these are text. So maybe these are announcement, or there is a phone conversation. So let's say 56 is the announcement and 57 is the conversation, and then 58 is an maybe a introduction to in some interview. Let's say that for an example. So these are individual texts. Let's say you hear one conversation of 56 question, and you will find the answer of 56 in that conversation. Then they will again repeat the conversation for 56th question, and so on for other questions also. And another tip is the same as another tiles for Hören verstehen, which is you have to mark the important keywords for this tile also. When you are hearing the description of this tile, you try to mark all the important information in the question so that when you hear it, you should be able to mark it right. And this was all about the Hören verstehen. Then we have our schriftliche Ausdruck, which is the writing part. So in the writing, we will be having one letter. And for completing this task, we have 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, including you have to read your question and put your answer on the sheet. So the tip for writing task is you have to distribute your time. For example, you will be taking 5 minutes to read the question and analyzing the points which you will be putting on your answer sheet in your letter. So 5 minutes is for analyzing the letter and making the points, and remaining 25 minutes for actually answering the question. Then another thing which we have to take care is whether it is an informal letter or it is half informal or half formal. And we can clearly see that this letter is addressed with Liebe, which is of informal addressing. So we can say that this letter is an informal letter, and maybe this is written by my friend or maybe my family. So this is an informal letter. After analyzing the type of letter, we will directly come to the points which I would be writing in my letter. So let's say the first point is welche Ausflug Sie mit Marina machen wollen, and so on. Another points also we will read. Then directly after reading these points, we will read the question, which is a letter. We are doing this because when we read the question first, we have everything in our mind that this is what we are going to cover. And when with this mindset we read the question, we could catch some important keywords or maybe some important vocabulary. So suppose in this letter we have used besuchen, Einladung, kennenlernen, and other things also. Also, we have here site. So let's say you don't know the article of site, but you see there is written best site. So the best site. So you know the Times article is the best site which is used here. Then comes the format of letter. How should you write the letter? So first you have to start the letter with sehr geehrte or lieber. Depends on whether the letter is half informal, half formal, or fully informal. And once you start the letter by addressing, then in the first two sentences of your letter start, you should be able to summarize that you have received the letter from your friend or family and you are writing this letter back to them in order to convey your message or your reply. So first two sentences will say this, and then comes your points which needed to be covered. So let's say here in this question we have welche Ausflug Sie mit Marina machen wollen. So which side trip you want to do with Marina and what is the best time. This is the second point. And which are the clothes which you will be carrying. Kleidung Sie mitnehmen soll. Wie sie sich am besten auf die Reise vorbereiten kann. Und how can you in a best way prepare for the trip. So all these 4 points must be included in your letter if you want to get good marks in writing. And you could use the keywords like Ausflug, beste Jahreszeit, Kleidung, or Sie mitnehmen, and then vorbereiten. So these are the keywords from the question itself and which you can put in your letter and get a good marks. To summarize all the tips for writing, first we will be reading the points which we are writing in the letter. Then we will come to the question, read the letter and mark the good vocabulary. Try to note down good vocabulary and take a note of articles which for the nouns which are used in the letter so that you have less chance of doing mistake with the articles. Then comes the format of the letter. So first is addressing on the top of the letter. Then comes the two sentences in which you will convey to your friend or family that you have received the letter and you are writing them back because you are interested in their plan or maybe in order to do this and that. Then comes the points which should be covered in the letter. So there are 4 points in this example. You should be covering all the points. Then in the last, we have the closing statement. Closing statement should also be as per the letter. So let's say for this particular example, you would be asking your friend to write you back whether she likes your plan or not. So this is a particular closing statement for this example. But there are multiple closing statement depending on the type of letter you are writing. And guys, this is it for today. I couldn't cover mündlicher Ausdruck also in this video because it will be a too long video for everyone. So I will make another video which is part 3 for the tips series of B1 telc Prüfung, but on next weekend, because on the weekdays we learn the vocabulary. So I would meet you guys once again tomorrow, and if you guys liked this video and would like to develop your German vocabulary, you could subscribe to my channel and we will develop our German vocabulary skills together. So guys, for now, auf Wiedersehen und bis morgen.